Have you ever noticed that one person in a room who says nothing but everyone looks at them?
Yes, I know exactly what you mean. They just sit there, perfectly still, while everyone else is panicking.
It's almost scary, isn't it? It's like they have a secret power that no one else has.
It is a power. Most people think being loud is being strong, but it's actually the opposite.
Exactly. We often think the person shouting the loudest is the leader, but usually the person who is calm is the one in control.
Welcome to Mutual English Center. Today we are going to talk about why calm people are actually the most powerful people in the world.
I'm so excited for this topic. It's something that can change your life, especially if you are learning English and feel nervous.
This is a deep one. We are going to explore the mind, the heart, and the strength of silence.
Let's start with a simple question. Why are we so afraid of silence?
That's a good point. Silence feels heavy. When we are in a conversation and it goes silent, we feel like we have to fill it.
We do. We start talking about the weather or we make a joke just to stop the awkward feeling.
But a calm person, they don't mind the silence. They sit in it. They own it.
That's the first sign of power. They don't need to prove anything to anyone.
Honestly, I used to be the loud one. I thought if I didn't talk, people would think I was boring or stupid.
I think we all feel that way sometimes. We think more words equals more intelligence, but it's the opposite. When you talk too much, you show your cards. You show your fear.
Let's talk about fear for a second. Why does a calm person seem so fearless?
It's not that they don't feel fear. They do. They just don't let the fear drive the car. I love that image. Fear is in the back seat, but calmness is at the steering wheel.
Exactly. Imagine you are at a job interview. Your heart is beating fast. Your hands are sweating.
Oh, I've been there. It's the worst feeling. You want to run away.
A weak person starts talking fast. They stumble over their words. They try to impress the interviewer too much.
And the calm person?
They take a breath. They listen. They wait 2 seconds before answering. That 2-second pause is where the power lives.
It makes the other person wait for you. It shows you are not in a rush.
It shows you are the master of your own time.
You know, I once met a CEO of a very big company. I expected him to be shouting orders and running around.
And what was he like?
He was the quietest person in the office. He spoke softly, he walked slowly.
Did people respect him?
They were terrified of disappointing him. Because he was so calm, his words carried so much weight.
That's the thing about quiet power. When you don't speak often, every word you say becomes a diamond.
If you speak 1,000 words a minute, your words are like sand. There is too much of it. It has no value.
But if you speak 10 words and those words are wise and calm, people cherish them.
Let's look at the overthinking problem. I know many of our English learners struggle with this.
Oh, definitely. They think, what if I make a mistake? What if they laugh? What if I use the wrong tense?
Their brain is like a noisy highway. Zoom, zoom, thoughts everywhere.
A calm person has a quiet mind. They observe the thoughts, but they don't join the noise.
How do we get that quiet mind? Is it something you're born with?
I don't think so. I think it's a muscle. You have to train it.
Like going to the gym?
Exactly. You train yourself to stay still when things go wrong.
Let's do a mini role play. Imagine I'm an angry customer and you're a calm shop manager.
Okay, let's try it.
Shouting. I can't believe this. This product is broken. I want my money back right now. This is the worst service ever.
Calmly. I understand you're frustrated. I can see the product isn't working. Let's look at it together and see how I can fix this for you.
Still loud. Fixing it isn't enough. You wasted my time.
Remaining calm. Your time is valuable. I apologize for the delay. Would you like a refund or a replacement? I am here to help you.
Wow. Okay, I feel silly for shouting now.
See, because I didn't match your energy, your fire had nothing to burn.
That is a great lesson. Anger needs another person's anger to survive. If you stay calm, the other person's anger eventually dies out. They feel embarrassed for losing control.
So, by being calm, you actually controlled my emotions too.
That is the ultimate power. Controlling yourself allows you to influence the environment.
I want to tell a story about a friend of mine named Sarah.
Who was Sarah?
Sarah was an introvert. She was very shy and never spoke in meetings at work.
A lot of people can relate to that.
One day there was a big crisis. A server crashed and the company was losing money every second.
That sounds stressful. Everyone must have been panicking.
Oh, they were. The manager was yelling, the tech team was arguing, people were crying.
And what did Sarah do?
She just sat there. She took a piece of paper, she started drawing a diagram of the problem.
She didn't join the shouting.
No, she waited until there was a tiny break in the noise. Then she said, I think if we restart the secondary node, the data will flow again.
Did they listen?
Because she was the only calm person, her voice sounded like a bell in the middle of a storm.
Everyone looked at her, right?
Yes, they did what she said. It worked. From that day on, she was the most respected person in the office.
She didn't need to be loud to be a leader. She just needed to be calm.
It's about clarity. When you are calm, you see the solution. When you are emotional, you only see the problem.
Let's talk about English learners again. Many students feel less than because they can't speak fast.
This is a huge mistake. They think speed equals fluency.
But if you speak fast and you're nervous, you make more mistakes.
And people can feel your anxiety. It makes the listener feel nervous too.
Exactly. If you speak slowly with calm breaths, people will wait for you.
They'll think you are choosing your words carefully. They will think you are wise.
Honestly, some of the most powerful speakers in history were slow speakers.
They used pauses. They used silence.
It's like music. The silence between the notes is what makes the music beautiful.
That's very poetic. I like that.
Let's talk about a daily life situation, like driving in traffic.
Oh, traffic makes me so angry sometimes. People cutting you off, honking their horns.
Most people react. They honk back, they yell, they get a headache.
And the calm person?
The calm person just turns on some nice music. They think, I will get there when I get there.
Does that make them weak?
No, it makes them the strongest person on the road. They're the only ones who aren't letting a stranger control their mood.
That's a deep thought. If I get angry because you yelled at me, you are my master.
Yes, you have given your power away to a stranger.
But if you yell at me and I stay calm and smile,
Then you are the master. You kept your power.
this is a mindset shift. We need to stop seeing calmness as passive.
Calmness is very active. It is an active choice to remain stable.
It's like a mountain. The wind blows, the rain falls, the snow hits the mountain.
But the mountain doesn't move.
I want to be a mountain.
We all do, but it takes practice. Let's talk about building that confidence.
How do we start? If I'm a naturally jumpy or nervous person, can I become calm?
Yes, step 1 is breathing. It sounds simple, but it's biological.
You mean like deep breaths?
Yes, when you're stressed, your breathing is shallow. It tells your brain there is a lion chasing you.
So your brain goes into fight or flight mode.
Exactly. But if you take a long, slow breath, you tell your brain there is no lion, we are safe.
I love that image. Fear is in the backseat, but calmness is at the steering wheel.
Exactly. Imagine you are at a job interview. Your heart is beating fast, your hands are sweating.
Oh, I've been there. It's the worst feeling. You want to run away.
A weak person starts talking fast. They stumble over their words. They try to impress the interviewer too much.
And the calm person?
They take a breath. They listen. They wait 2 seconds before answering. That 2-second pause is where the power lives.
It makes the other person wait for you. It shows you are not in a rush.
It shows you are the master of your own time. You know, I once met a CEO of a very big company. I expected him to be shouting orders and running around.
And what was he like?
He was the quietest person in the office. He spoke softly, he walked slowly.
Did people respect him?
They were terrified of disappointing him. Because he was so calm, his words carried so much weight.
That's the thing about quiet power. When you don't speak often, every word you say becomes a diamond.
If you speak 1,000 words a minute, your words are like sand. There is too much of it. It has no value.
But if you speak 10 words and those words are wise and calm, people cherish them.
Let's look at the overthinking problem. I know many of our English learners struggle with this.
Oh, definitely. They think, what if I make a mistake? What if they laugh? What if I use the wrong tense?
Their brain is like a noisy highway. Zoom, zoom, thoughts everywhere.
A calm person has a quiet mind. They observe the thoughts, but they don't join the noise.
How do we get that quiet mind? Is it something you're born with?
I don't think so. I think it's a muscle. You have to train it.
Like going to the gym?
Exactly. You train yourself to stay still when things go wrong.
Let's do a mini role play. Imagine I'm an angry customer and you're a calm shop. If I could go back, I would have just smiled. I would have said, well, it looks like my laptop needs a nap. Let's do this without the slides.
That would have been so cool. People would have been impressed by your confidence.
Exactly. The problem wasn't the laptop. The problem was my reaction to the laptop.
This is a lesson for everything in life. The problem is rarely the real problem. The real problem is how we react to it.
Let's say that again. That's powerful.
The problem is not the problem. The problem is your reaction to the problem.
If you can stay calm, you can solve anything. Or at least you can fail with dignity.
There is a lot of power in failing with dignity.
It shows that your spirit is stronger than your circumstances.
I want to talk about role models of calmness. Who do you think of?
I think of Nelson Mandela. He was in prison for 27 years.
And when he came out, he wasn't screaming for revenge.
He was calm. He was forgiving. He was a leader.
His calmness changed an entire nation.
If he could stay calm after 27 years in a cell, surely I can stay calm when I forget a word in English.
Exactly. It puts things into perspective, doesn't it?
It really does. Our problems are often quite small when we look at the big picture.
Let's talk about the power of slow.
Everything in our world is fast. Fast food, fast internet, fast learning.
We feel like we're falling behind if we aren't moving at 100 miles per hour.
But speed creates mistakes. Slow creates quality.
When you speak slowly, you have more time to think about your grammar and pronunciation.
And you sound more authoritative.
Have you noticed that kings and queens in movies always speak slowly?
Yes, they don't rush. They know everyone will wait for them.
You should treat yourself like a king or queen of your own life.
Don't rush for anyone. Value your own words.
Let's discuss introversion and extroversion again. Is it harder for extroverts to be calm?
I think extroverts get their energy from others, so if others are panicking, the extrovert might join in more easily.
They're like sponges for the energy around them.
But an extrovert who has learned to be calm, that person is a super leader.
They can energize people without making them feel stressed.
That's a great balance. High energy, low stress.
Let's go through some more practical situations. What about a first date?
Oh, the ultimate stress test. You want to be liked, you want to be funny.
A nervous person talks too much. They don't listen. They're too focused on themselves.
And a calm person?
They ask a question, and then they really listen. They aren't afraid of a few seconds of silence.
Silence on a date can be romantic if you are calm, but awkward if you are nervous.
It's all about the energy you bring to the silence.
If you're comfortable, they'll be comfortable.
Let's talk about building confidence through small wins.
You don't become a calm master overnight.
No, you start with small things, like waiting in line at the grocery store without checking your phone.
That's a small win for calmness.
Or when someone says something slightly mean to you, you count to 3 before responding.
Another win.
Each time you choose calmness, you are depositing confidence into your power bank.
Power bank. I like that. Over time, you become a person who is naturally calm.
It becomes your default setting.
I want to talk about the mindset shift regarding mistakes.
Many learners think a mistake is a failure.
But a mistake is just data. It's just information.
A calm person thinks, "Oh, I used the wrong tense there. Interesting. I'll try to remember that for next time."
A nervous person thinks, "I'm so stupid. I'll never learn this. Everyone is looking at me."
See the difference? One leads to growth, the other leads to stopping.
Calmness is the bridge between making a mistake and learning from it.
Without calmness, you just stay stuck in the shame of the mistake.
Let's move to a deeper section. Let's talk about the strength of the gentle.
We often think gentle means weak.
But it takes so much more strength to be gentle than to be harsh.
It's easy to be mean, it's easy to yell. Any child can do that.
But to stay kind and gentle when someone is attacking you, that is the ultimate strength.
It's like a giant who doesn't need to crush the fly, he just lets it fly away.
The giant knows his power. He doesn't need to prove it by being violent.
This is why calm people are actually powerful. They know their own strength, so they don't have to show it off.
People who show off are usually the ones who are most afraid of being seen as weak.
Exactly. True power is quiet. True power is humble.
Let's talk about social fear and public speaking.
This is the #1 fear in the world, even more than death.
It's crazy. We are more afraid of a crowd of people than a lion.
Because we're social animals, being rejected by the group feels like death to our brains.
How does a calm person handle a speech?
They focus on the service. They think, how can I help these people? What can I teach them?
Instead of thinking, how do I look? Do they like me?
Right. When you focus on helping others, your ego disappears. And when your ego disappears, your nervousness goes with it.
That is a huge secret. Focus on the value, not the ego.
If you are learning English to help your family or to get a better job to support your community, you will be much more calm than if you are just trying to look cool.
This is such a good point. Purpose creates peace.
Let's look at introverts in the workplace. Sometimes they feel overlooked for promotions.
Because the boss thinks the loud person is the go-getter.
But a smart boss knows that the quiet person is usually the one doing the most work.
If you are an introvert, don't try to be an extrovert. Just be a confident introvert.
Be the person who only speaks when they have something important to say.
People will learn that when you open your mouth, they should listen.
That is more valuable than any loud personality.
Let's go over some repetition of the main points. Repetition is great for learning.
Point 1, calmness is not being weak. It is controlled power.
Point 2, silence is a tool. Use it to your advantage.
Point 3, breathing is the physical key to a calm mind.
Point 4, don't react, observe. Become the scientist of your life.
Point 5, focus on the now. The past and future are just distractions.
Point 6, slow down. Speed is the enemy of confidence.
And point 7, your English doesn't have to be perfect to be powerful. It just has to be calm.
I feel calmer just talking about this.
Me too. It's a contagious feeling.
Imagine if everyone in the world took a deep breath before they spoke.
There would be no wars.
Maybe not that simple, but it would definitely be a better place.
Let's talk about emotional intelligence.
Being calm is a sign of high EQ.
It means you can manage your own emotions and understand the emotions of others.
When you are calm, you can see that the person yelling at you is actually just sad or tired.
You see the why behind the action.
And that gives you empathy. Empathy is another form of power.
When you have empathy, you can influence people in a positive way.
You're not fighting them, you're helping them.
This is how great leaders like Gandhi or Martin Luther King Jr. operated.
They used non-violent resistance, which is basically extreme calmness.
They stood their ground without being aggressive.
That is the most powerful thing a human being can do.
Let's talk about daily life situations where we lose our peace.
Like when the internet is slow. Oh, that's a big one for me.
Or when someone spoils a movie for you.
Or when you drop your phone and the screen cracks.
These are all small storms.
A calm person recognizes them as small storms. They don't treat a cracked screen like the end of the world.
They think, okay, this happened. What is the next step?
Acceptance is a big part of calmness.
You have to accept the reality of the moment. If it's raining, it's raining. Getting angry won't make the sun come out.
If you made a mistake in English, you made a mistake. Getting angry won't fix the grammar.
Acceptance brings peace. Peace brings clarity. Clarity brings the solution.
I love that chain of events.
Let's talk about the introvert's advantage in learning English.
Introverts are often better at listening comprehension.
Because they are used to being quiet and observing.
They are also often better at writing because they have a rich inner world.
So if you're an introvert, don't feel bad. You have a great foundation for language learning.
You just need to add that calm confidence to your speaking.
Remember, you don't need to be the clown or the entertainer.
You just need to be you, but a calm version of you.
Let's do a final deep emotional section before we wrap up.
This is for the person watching this who feels like their life is a mess.
Maybe you feel like you aren't strong. Maybe you feel like you are always panicking.
Maybe you feel like your English will never be good enough.
We want you to know that calmness is a home you can always go back to.
It's always there under the noise.
Even in a hurricane, the bottom of the ocean is perfectly still.
You have that stillness inside you too.
You just have to dive deep. You have to go past the waves of thoughts and emotions.
You are much more powerful than you think you are.
Your quietness is not a flaw, it's a gift.
Use it, cherish it, protect it.
Don't let the